Yo, yo, yo. What's good, everyone? I don't even know if I'm gonna ever post this or do anything with it. But, I thought I would give a try of doing stuff similar to other YouTubers like Prism Mike and Noriaro doing car content. Thought this would be a good opportunity. This is my friend's 1992 Acura Integra LS. You got it for a pretty good price, but it has its issues. But it's a really solid car. It's been resprayed, and the respray job is okay. Up close you can see some weird stuff that they did with the trim and all, and some issues with masking and so on. But overall, it's pretty good, and at least they stuck with the OEM color. But obviously, junkyard hood has the B18A. And I'm working on it because on what happens to most 90s cars and late 80s Japanese cars, the heater line blew. I told him when he got it to replace it, but because this happened to me on my old Toyota and it happened to my friend's Miata, it just happens on all the 90s whips. Definitely should get the heater hose replaced. But very solid car. Interior is pretty good. Has, the rip of most 90s whips, but super nice seats. The auto seat belts and all. And only 200K for something that's lived for this long. It's pretty decent. No bad rust. Got some wheels from a Lego set. 14 inches. But yeah, super solid car. And nice to be working on a B series. Used to drive a 6th gen. I had the D series, and driving this thing whenever I have the chance to is a lot more tougher. But yeah, gonna dive into this and also fix other issues other than the head gasket. And I was taking apart the heat shield. Noticed that two of the studs were missing. I don't know if someone has been in here before, but weirdly enough, I found the head of either one of these studs just laying inside in there. So I don't know if that's just from just the mileage, but I don't know. This entire car has been kind of touched here and there. There's some weird things that have been going on, so. But yeah, has a pretty bad oil leak, seemingly from the oil pan gasket. And some other areas, there's like stupid shit like this too. And there's just, this car hasn't been treated the very best, but it is not as ragged on. It is an auto, unfortunate, but hopefully that will change in the future. But yeah. Really gotta love Honda for labeling each side of the cam and which cam cap to put it on. It's so well thought out engineering. It's really cool with these Integras. You don't really see these 2nd gen DA9s at all. I've only seen literally one other on the road in the flesh. So it's really cool to see these things still kicking out there. And they had such a limited run of 3 years, so makes sense. I haven't actually worked, it's really nice to work on a B series and actual timing belt stuff. I've really only worked on stuff with timing chains and all. So it's a really cool experience to dive into such a known and beloved motor, you know. So yeah, so I get to figure out how to do all the lovely dual overhead cam timing chain stuff. Loki, I finally got the timing belt off. I definitely do need to buy the cam locker and properly figure out how to get this plastic cover off. I haven't even looked at the manual. I'm just going off this just because I've worked on so many 90s whips. I'm just kind of freeballing it. But I'll look online how to properly do it. I don't know. I loosened the tensioners and it finally plopped off. So I don't know if actually if I had gone right hand, if it would have done that springy action. I'm not sure. I actually can't see shit down there. So I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'll look at a manual and figure out how to properly get that plastic cover off and see if I need to take the crank pulley off. But I did get the timing belt off. I should have gotten timing belt off before I loosened anything, so I didn't risk anything. But everything is still pretty locked in there. So you know, now it's time to get the cams off, get the actual head studs out, and see what else needs to take off the head. Yeah. Of course, exhaust and whatever other else intake stuff, but yeah, nice progress. These bolts are so funny, so Japanese looking and engineering. These are part of bolts that are connected to that intake bracket there. I've actually never seen that before until working on one of these, but it makes sense to, I guess, the weaker points around here so it doesn't bounce up and down and snap anything in the aluminum. But yeah, pretty interesting bolts, but quite a pain in the ass to get to in the repair. I just wanted to show an example for getting cam caps off. You know, a lot of people, like, when they see this part, they want to pry. On an aluminum head, you really don't want to damage any of these mating surfaces at all. So when getting something that's stuck here, this one's out of angle, usually when you have them all loose, you can kind of wiggle the cam and it'll kind of plop out. But with these dowels, it also keeps them really well in place. But definitely the most efficient way is getting a mallet with a rubber tip and just tapping each side till it will finally break free. Because you really don't want to damage or minimize any type of wear you want to put into the internal parts of your engine. You want everything to be as it was machined in the factory, so everything mates well, lubricates well, and all the pressures well. Of course, there's no like oil pressure going through these, but still you want everything to be nicely done. But yeah, definitely don't pry on heads and stuff, because you can also do damage and then do things where things will be sudden and you don't want to scratch anything else internally. You want to be very patient and, you know, light with everything. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the cam caps. Just take your time with it. So now with the cams off, I'm gonna take the rock arms that are just floating in there, and then do the sequence to get them out, to get the head studs out, or the head bolts out. Which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, to prevent warping and all. Dude, that was scary as fuck, bro. Use the fucking the jack handle for that much fucking leverage. Jesus fuck. I already had broken the first one loose by hand, but Jesus fuck. Bro, am I gonna have to do that for all of them? Bro, that's scary, bro. Loki didn't see this when I removed the cam. That's not nice. I can feel it with my finger now. I wonder, something contaminated the oil and really fucked it up. How is it on the cam? The cam looks aight. Yeah, I don't feel anything on the cam. That fucking sucks though. Alrighty, let's see if I forgot anything. Oh, I forgot this. Fuck. Alright. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that shit free. Oh fuck yeah. I lost this cam cap bolt when I was taking it out. Well, not when I was taking it out. I was trying to punch it through the cardboard and I was doing the other side of it. Well, I'll show in a second. Alright, low key. I'm not sure where the gasket blew. I did do one of the those combustion gas tests where you put it in the radiator, and I did it twice where you just suck up the fumes, and it did come back both times green. So, but on the actual gasket itself, there's coolant up here. I don't know if that was me taking it back off, but I don't see anything clearly fucked up, but all I can assume with the coolant being there, I'll pull back the footage and see if I just spilled some coolant there. If it's there, then I would assume it would have been leaking from over here into the combustion chamber. But yeah, that's a head off. So that's not even why we're here. We're actually doing an oil change. You see this oil filter? You can't really actually access it from there. It's actually nearly impossible. So Honda, requires you through the manual. You need to take off the head. It's a good maintenance routine, and to get to the oil filter. So now we'll be able to change the oil with ease. Yeah, hell yeah. Well, okay, everyone. The homie's got the head gasket on order, so I'm probably gonna be tackling a few things, cleaning things up, tackling other issues, probably removing like charcoal canisters, the shitty evap system for emissions and all that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm ever gonna post this, but props to me if I, edit everything and do it. This is definitely like a test run for this type of like content that I want to make. Like, I really do want to make content. I've always wanted to do that. I've always felt like the need or just the want to create things and share things with people, and especially stuff like with this, with like 90 Japanese cars. Like, I really want to have a channel where I can just share builds and like stuff to work on, and maybe even help people out that are within their own builds, like doing, niches and stuff. Like, here's that bracket that connects from the block to the actual intake and stuff. Like, I really want to make content and hopefully have an audience that really messes with it. But yeah, there's a few other cars that I would like to start on, or rather, there's a few cars that I definitely want to put out there as like actual well done videos, and this is one of them. This is my 2018 FK7. Yo, sorry about the AC. This shit must be like low-key awful through the mic. But yeah, this is my daily. It's a really fun daily. It's a 6-speed, and it's the 1.5 turbo. But yeah, I have a lot of plans for this car. To make it a very street style car. Only thing that's been done to it right now are coilovers and just like aesthetic stuff. Like, I painted the badges. I didn't do a really good job with it though, so I'm gonna repaint them. Especially, I wanted them glossy, not matte, and I lost the T. But the tails are pretty cool. I definitely do want wheels. Have EBC brakes on there. Want to get a Borla for it. But yeah, definitely plans for this is like doing stuff like cold air intake, Borla exhaust, trying to get a HKS intercooler, take it apart and get rid of that. I know this it's mostly on the Accords here, probably from running 87 and having a bit more boost with a bit more weight. They have that head gasket issue. I'm at 120 thou on this thing, and I would like to have it last at least to 300 or more, and I really want to put K-tuner on this and have this be a really cool build. But yeah, low-key though, for what I really want to pursue and like practicing well recordings and have like an actual journey that's possible, is my 88 Toyota Hilux. I pulled this out when I was 15. This was sitting in the backyard for a very long time. It was sitting at my uncle's house since 2007. I was born in 2006. And this is a really cool car. It had Mark III Super wheels on it, but they're cracked. So, and the tires were absolutely cooked. So I ran Honda CR-V wheels on it for a long time, and on the stock suspension it looked like a regular mini truck. And then I decided to drop it. I'm pretty sure it's 4 inches dropped. I got 4-inch drop blocks. It's really low. Like, it's really low. Yeah, like you see the studs are hitting the ground. I didn't bother to grind them off. But I really love this car. I'll probably try to snap some photos of how the interior and stuff was before. It was really, really rough, and this car has a lot of rust for being a Florida car. I don't know if it had, it should have been always in Florida. It would have been in Miami, but it sat outside in like under trees and shit for a long time. It was rat infested, whole 9 yards. And the reason why the whole front end is rusty is because it was crashed. well, someone hit my uncle in the late 90s. So, you know, when you buy the primered parts from wherever, you know, whatever new parts from the insurance or whatever, obviously if you don't paint it, the primer will eventually break through. Has a 22R. That's a new head on there. Blew the head gasket with the heater core. Kept on running it. And then when I opened it up, the coolant was so bad, it had gone into the oil jackets and it shot coolant to the actual camshafts. And you know how coolant mixes with bearings? Not good. The cams were heinously. I'll probably put up some photos. But yeah, this 22R is very, very slow. And right now it has a horrible, it smokes like a two-stroke. It is horribly, those piston rings need to be replaced. And for sure, when I first took it apart, the intake was open in all those years of sitting, so it was seized and there was rust, especially on cylinder 3, so it was a little bit pitted. So I'm hoping to take this engine out and, you know, do a proper rebuild, take it to machine shop to get it bored out a little bit, get a little bit more horsepower. Maybe do the fuel injection swap. I do have the intake and the harness for that, so I would like to tackle that. But eventually I would like to put another motor in here, and I would like this to be a truck that I can actually drive as a work truck. I know it's like very low, but I want to be able to use it to like tow motorcycles or whatever. So, and that's also a reason why I would want a more powerful motor, because if I have like some dual overhead cam or a V6 in here, I'm probably leaning towards like a Beams motor, whatever, honestly, whatever's available once I have the cash. But for now, I only have enough cash to rebuild the motor, because engine swaps are way too expensive, especially for a drivetrain, because like I would want to redo everything. And I eventually do want to like get rid of the truck suspension. I absolutely hate truck suspension having leaf springs and the torsion bars. It just makes such a chuggy experience on the road, and also the steering is that box steering, so it's very sloppy, and I've already adjusted it to make it tighter. So I would like a proper rack and pinion. I would like actual coils in the front, and I don't know if you guys seen online, but the builds where they have like literally like the suspension kind of peeking through the bed. Would love to, you know, convert this and have it as kind of like a streetcar suspension. And I would eventually like to drift this. But yeah, I mean, big plans for this. I hope I can actually use this as a truck. You know, I spent all my money as a 16-year-old pouring money into this thing. And this car is very sentimental to me because my uncle did pass away years back, and I really want this. This was his first car as a 16-year-old, so you know, this car was a big part of his life, and he was a car enthusiast too. And you know, I want to keep this alive, not just to keep old cars on the road alive, but you know, to keep his, you know, love and how he loved cars too alive. So yeah, I really want to go on the journey of properly painting, doing proper fabrication, and doing other fun stuff with this car. I really want to showcase that and go through, you know, the trial and error of it and the fun of it, and get that satisfying ending in the end of it. This car over here is a late spec 6th gen Honda Civic. This is the lowest trim you could get. It's on SI wheels. It's the LX, so has the lowest power, and it originally came on Steelies. It also has a very ugly interior, but I absolutely loved this car. When I had this car, it was so enjoyable, and the immediate second I got it, the power steering went out and the AC went out within, not the immediate, but within a few months of me driving it. It started to have all those issues, and it already had a really bad rear main seal leak where I had to fill it up with oil like at least once a week. Pretty sure it's the D16Y8. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but really solid motor. Heater core line did blow on this one, but I caught it. I was actually looking at my temps, and yeah, I was able to limp it home without it actually overheating and having to do a gasket. As you know, these things are unbreakable, and I really do want to revive this car. I hope I can put some either a B series or, you know, eventually in the FK7. I want to eventually K-swap that, and it would be really cool to have the built L15 in this thing, because I do really want to have a nicely built L15 motor. But this car I want to keep around, but it's probably not going to be touched for a while. But this was my brother's car, so when I was growing up and I finally got into car, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be able to whip a 6th gen Civic. I absolutely loved it. This thing was not maintained well or treated well. All the issues with it, it's only at 174K, and with all the issues on it, it looks like more like a 280 car. It doesn't have bad rust, but just doesn't have too much of a happy life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yo, it's me from the next day. I wanted to go more further in depth with what I wanted to do with the channel really, and what I kind of want to follow through with and go about. So I really want this to be a pretty good variety channel with just more like 80s, 90s Japanese style content, like, you know, Japanese cars, doing the rebuild on the Toyota, doing the journey with this, because I was talking to my buddy that owns this, and, you know, we have some more plans that we'd like to do with this, with like lowering exhaust, so on. And we are gonna get a B18 B1 head. It has the B18 in it now. I know that head's intake flows better, and it's from a 97 Integra, so it's got less miles on it. Just good overall, because that cam journal is pretty rough with being able to feel it, so it's a pretty good deal. So I might record some of that journey, because it is kind of a drive to get it, but you know, it's definitely worth it to keep these things on the road, especially, and improve the car overall. But yeah, I want to do motorcycle content. I love motorcycles. That is originally what I fell in love with. I didn't care for cars initially, and I have a 78 Twin Star and an 82 XL185 that I need to get running, and love to show the process of getting those things back, you know, to the proper maintained shape. But eventually I would love to have like drifting content, and, you know, more content of my other friends' cars that I work on, and just have like those cool vibes around and make some cool stuff. Reviewing the footage from yesterday, I definitely see like faults with what I did. I really should have recorded more of the process of me taking apart things, like getting the timing belt off. Like, it was just like all of a sudden, like, I had everything off, but it's like you need to take the power steering pump off and get the belts off and the motor mount on that side off. Like, should have recorded all that, and I was kind of just raw dogging it, but I should have recorded it anyways. Oh, and low key, like, half of this video is literally just like the intro and explaining like the other cars that I have. I didn't even really do that much content on the Integra itself, taking off the head. It was kind of just like a few frames or a few clips of like, just like, whoa, the head's off, yo. So I definitely want to make the content more fuller and get to know that better, and recording everything in an enjoyable way to like see the process, and to actually help someone out there, to like someone view my video and be like, oh, okay, so I need to do this and this will happen, you know, instead of just kind of like skip some things. I also can't really see like I can't even, I'm just kind of guessing like the range and view and like the lighting. I'm using an old GoPro Session that was laying around the house. It's literally like the first gen GoPro Session, so I can't see the clips until I plug it into a computer. I know there's a GoPro app, but I think the app that's only supported now is just for editing, and I don't want to use my phone because one, my phone storage has been full for like 6 months, and this Session has like a really good tripod that's like super flexible, so it's like really convenient to place it in pretty much anywhere. Like you see how it's just kind of like climbing over gravel and all that. But yeah, this is what it's gonna be on for now. The mic and the quality is what I like, but I'll probably try to figure out something better in the future, or see if the app is just still just editing and actually clear up space on my phone. But yeah, so I'm sorry if the videos aren't like, you know, at least for now while I'm freeballing it and kind of learning it all, that like they're not like the best like views of everything, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and just I'm not used to being on camera. I gotta get used to that, and like being able to speak all my thoughts out instead of like hesitating to be like, oh shit, and then forget things. But that's just something I gotta get used to, and I'm not like the biggest fan of seeing myself on the big screen, so yeah, I gotta get used to that too. But I do want to follow through with this. I've kind of chose the worst time to start this. I'm starting college literally today, but this car does need to get done because my friend does daily this, so props to him, you know. I feel like all 90s whips should be daily. But yeah, I hope this can go well. I mean, I don't think this will even reach a lot of people, or you know, builds anything up initially pretty well, especially like with YouTube's algorithm, with AI and such, and just I probably won't be very consistent with the content, and it'll be like a new channel, so like everything's kind of going against me with it. But I just want to do it for fun and just kind of go through with it and kind of have it as a diary too, you know, throughout my years of just working on whips and stuff that I really enjoy. But yeah, peace out. Thank you for watching if you watched it.